Oshio, it's me again, and this is my brother. This is Chet. So I want to everybody to say hello to my brother Chet. Okay?
Hey folks, how's it going? You notice I don't talk as loud as Marty does.
Yeah. Okay. We won't even go there. uh, all right. Now listen. We wanted to talk about some different things and stuff, but we only got so many minutes on each video. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna ask him some questions and things, and let him answer. Okay? Uh, Chet knows things on the Hebrew
A
and
little bit, not much.
oh, he knows more than what he's saying. Okay. But anyway, but what we're going to be talking about is Islam. Just a little bit on Islam. And first of all, saying cause we know that Muslims in our society today about Christians, that Christians and Islam, you got your secular Christians and you got your secular Muslims. Okay, sounds like an oxymoron, don't it? But anyway, but we're not saying all Muslims is evil, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about Islam. Islam is their religion, their faith, their belief.
Well, that's just like, not everyone who calls themselves a Christian is not a Christian. Anyone who calls themselves a Christian and advocates violence or killing is not a true Christian. I mean, look at what was done in the name of Yeshua Hamashiach, Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ is the English translation of the Greek translation of the Hebrew and Aramaic. Okay, Jesus didn't speak English. There was no such thing as an English language when Jesus walked on this earth, or when his apostles came. English is a conglomeration of Gaelic, Celtic, the different Germanic tribes, Anglo-Saxons, just all of that. You go back to 14th century English and it don't sound nothing like English now.
Now, question.
Answer.
All right, in Islam, what was its beginning? Can you tell just a little bit? We're not going to go thorough in a deep-rooted investigation here, but we're going to kind of touch on it lightly so others can have an understanding about Islam. Where did it come from? How did it begin?
Okay, Muhammad was a guy over in basically the Saudi Arabian Peninsula, right? And he went out and did some fasting and praying. Now the tribe he came from, they worshipped. I can't remember. It starts with a K, but it was basically a moon god, and the object of their worship was a black stone. Okay. Anyhow, he went out. He wanted to do some fasting and praying to his god or whatever, and he spent some time in this cave fasting and praying. And during that time of fasting and praying, he was taken over, and he was frothing at the mouth, and he saw things that just scared the, excuse my language, scared the burqa right off his robe. I don't know if it's burqa or not. I think it is. Anyhow, scared the pants off him, and I mean, he was terrified. He was petrified, and he went back home, and he had talked to his wife, who was older than him, and she was rich. He married into her. She was the widow of a merchant guy. And so anyhow, Muhammad married into money. Anyhow, she convinced him, he was convinced to begin with, that he had been either possessed or oppressed by demons. Now this is historical fact. You can go back through history and find the writings about it. And anyhow, his wife at the time, I can't remember her name, convinced him that it was God, okay, talking to him. And he let himself be talked into it that it was God. And of course, the word God in Arabic is Allah. But I want to state right here now that the God, Allah, and Yahweh, Jehovah, Hashem, is not the same God. It is not. Throughout the Tanakh, and I know the Quran and Muhammad teach that the Jews and the people that are Christian have corrupted the word, but there was no such thing as Islam. Islam didn't come into being until I believe it was 538 when Muhammad died. So, you know, how can thousands of years before Abraham had been a Muslim? There's no such thing. Okay, so let's get that straight to begin with. But that's basically how it came about. And one thing I want to state right here, right now, is the Islamic hatred for the Jews stems from the fact from just before the Battle of Trench. Okay, Muhammad was going around trying to convince all these people to follow him and to believe in the religion he was starting up. Okay, and he had tried to win them by peaceful means to begin with. He tried diplomacy. And in the Arabian Peninsula, they refused to follow him. And he got mad and he started a fight that he couldn't finish. So he was running from his fellow Arabs. And he came to this town that was peopled by Jews that had been living there since the Babylonian exile from 586 before the Common Era. Okay, so they've been there for about almost 1,000 years. And anyhow, he tried talking with them and tried convincing them to convert to this belief that he had, and he tried diplomacy there, and they said, well, we'll think about it, we'll think about it. And they thought about it, and they came back to him the next morning, and they said, no, we can't do this. You know, this goes against our religion in Hashem, the God, you know, Yahweh. So anyhow, when Muhammad had left the area before that, before he had come to Trench, these Arabs were following him to wipe him out. And he had convinced the Jews in this town that these Arabs were coming to attack them, and he convinced everybody to dig a great big trench around the town, and they were all going to people it, you know, basically a moat type thing, but instead of water, it was going to be peopled and have spears and all that kind of stuff sticking up and arrows and all that. But anyhow, Muhammad ended up turning on the Jews and killing them all. That's why it was called the Battle of Trench. It really was no battle. It was a slaughter. But the whole reason behind Muhammad's hatred of the Jews is because they didn't believe him. They didn't follow after him when he tried diplomacy. So he figures, okay, well, if you're not going to come follow me through my words, then I'm going to kill you. And it's been the same way ever since. I guess I got to cut this off. I'm getting a signal, and we didn't get very far. That was just one question. All right, talk to you later.
All right, we'll continue this. We'll pick it up later on, given the opportunity as the Lord wills, and this will go just as far as God wills it, and how y'all let me know how y'all like it. On the info, get some feedback here, okay? But we want to say God bless you. Thank you for listening. May you walk in His light and always under His talit.
Baruch Hashem Adonai.
All right, God bless you, everyone. Ha-ho.